for many of them, it's because they don't have other opportunities, and we offer a pretty big variety of classes. So that's part of the why. The other thing that I think participants are considering, I think with some of the LCI courses, Joan, you can correct me, that to keep their certification, right? Yeah, they need to take some courses. So some of the LCI, right? Some of the LCI courses.
Yeah, well, any of the courses qualify for renewal credits.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, they could take that. Even just being at Congress, they get credits for just being at Congress. So they get specific credits for learning days, and then they get specific credits for Wednesday and Thursday too.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And I know for me in my past, the reason why we would have people go to Learning Day, much of like you said, is because we didn't have those internal classes. Or it was also the diversity of thought because of our instructors. We try to keep the instructors who have experience. So they're teaching something, they're either teaching internal to their own organization or as a consultant, or they have the experience with that. So I have had people who've attended Big Room for 2 or 3 times because they're like, oh, it's a new instructor. There's going to be new stuff to talk about, or I'm dealing with this. I want to come and see if so it's just getting that diversity of thought and experience as well. A lot of the courses, it's not here we're going to push information at you. It's more of an experiential thing of let me go learn where I'm at. And as we know, Lean is a journey, and there's a whole bunch of learn, unlearn, relearn, learn, unlearn, relearn cycles happening, PDCA cycles pretty much. So it really depends on where you're at and what you pick up. There's always going to be opportunity to learn no matter what level you're at.
And I think also, I mean, if a company gets a new employee and the company they were with previously hadn't been like using lean techniques, you get some beginners who, if they don't know what some of the terminology is, then they might know that class is just a little above their level. And so they might just need that basic class on, like basically Lean 1.0.
For me, as in my last 10 years as Lean Coach Director, what we would really focus on is what do you have the opportunity to take action on? Right? What are you going to put that learning into action with? Whether that was on a project, whether that was within a team, whether that was in with your own workflow, focusing on what are you going to do with this? Because a lot of the stuff that we teach is not just, this is great, let me go think about this. If you don't put it into action, you lose the learning. I mean, that's just standard. I forget what the effect is called anyways. You lose up to like 75% of what you learned 3 days after the conference or the class. But what do you have the ability to actually do something with? And so that's really where we would point people towards in my past is, and then help them too. What are you going to do with this? Have them set a goal or an action of, I'm going to go take this course because when I come back, I want to do something with it in my team or wherever that is. So that way they go in there with that mindset of, how am I going to use this? I'm learning to go put this into action.
People often will just think about what are the gaps in knowledge. So they can search our list, which has gotten even longer, which is good.
Yeah.
They can search the list for ways to fill the gap in their knowledge. So that's one way to pick. And sometimes it's, like if it's a leadership course, it's bugging them. Like, I've never had a formal leadership training. It would be nice to do something formal, like go to one of these classes. I think I'm pretty excited that we're expanding the learning days to a day and a half. I think now that we can offer some more additional classes, it seems more likely we'll be able to meet some of the needs that I realize one day is good, but a day and a half just gives us many more options to, fill the gaps for the companies. And as I understand it, this is no surprise. Some people just want to go all week.
I've been going to Congress for several years, and it's always like the Super Bowl of the year without the competition for me. even though my role has changed significantly from what it used to be, I think it's just being able to see the excitement and the engagement, but also get to meet people and what they're doing and see where the industry is at. Even in these learning day courses, to hear some of the discussions that come up in these courses or questions kind of gives you a really great understanding of where people are at, right? And it just helps us feed the machine even more of like, how do we bring more value? What is the next step? What can we be providing? So there's a lot of conversations at Congress that greatly influence my strategy for the next year.